I'm starting to hear a few birds now. And, so I've been settled here for 10 minutes. I've been drawing. So this is what I usually do when I sit here. But I keep my eyes open. So why do I do all this drawing? I mean, isn't a photograph a much better way of expressing the shapes of the hands? And actually, I suppose I should say this. Very often I use a photograph or a picture that I've taken somewhere, part of a film or something, and I'll use that as my model. Because the action is frozen in time, it gives me time to sketch it and such. But there's something about a sketch that, especially this, what I'm doing now, that really isolates everything, and somehow it conveys a different action, it conveys the image differently, and I do hope I can make a book out of my drawings one day. I don't know if that will happen. I'm planning on it. But yeah, I just think that I've always felt like drawings, especially in black and white, not colour, somehow take away the superfluous parts. They take away the unimportant bits, if you like. And somehow it gives can it be possible that it gives a truer depiction of what you actually see? I don't know. Seems a bit weird, but I think that is possibly what happens. So, walking along by the lake, I just heard some Canada geese. Oh, look there. Can you see them? There's a family of Canada geese with 4 young with them. It's kind of nice. So these are, in the UK we call them Canada geese. Can you see just behind there? You can see a mother, a moorhen, a mallard, female mallard. And she also has got 5 young babies with her as well. I like walking along the reeds when nothing knows I'm here quite yet, and you can hear these private conversations going back and forth. We'll move along a little bit, and you think you can't be seen, but all of a sudden it stops when you start walking, and you realise that they may not see, but they can hear. And there may be something else, a vibration, they detect in the human footprint that says, stop making a noise, stop drawing attention to yourself. This is the wrong person you want to draw attention to you. So this is where I'm going to do my brief experiment here and see what happens. So what you're going to hear now is me using a recording from earlier that I took to see if we can draw in a warbler. So this is the warbler that I recorded. Yep, we've got more activity now, I can hear it. So I've stopped my recording now. Let's just see what happens. They've all stopped now. There's one. One just went past. I just have been thinking quite a bit about a few things. Let me find a seat here. But I really wanted to talk to you about my good health, and I wanted to talk to you about the importance of maintaining good health where you can, where it's within your sphere of control, your sphere of limitation, and that's what I wanted to just address here, because I try as best I can to take care of my diet. Now, this weekend I ate marshmallows with my granddaughter that we cooked over an open flame, and I ate 2 of them, and that raised my blood sugars because I'm diabetic. It's bound to raise my blood sugars. But what I did is I put in place something that I think was of equal value. She knows that I watch my diet. She knows that I'm careful. And I explained to her, I think I can have 2 marshmallows and it might raise my blood sugars a bit. And I'd rather do that and enjoy the marshmallows with my granddaughter. So that's what I did. That's what we did. And we did enjoy those marshmallows. So I think there are things that you balance things out with and so on. But generally, I try to take care of my health in 2 or 3 ways. The first one is exercise. So when I'm at my bench, on the stairway where there's a platform, I do this. I might strengthen my legs and do this 50 times, up and down, not using my arms except for balance. And I do things like that. I put my socks on in the morning, stand on one leg and try to count to 25, 30 before I get my sock on. Those are the kind of dumb things I do. But I think they all help with the core muscles. They all help to keep you relatively fit. And then I also like to cook. If I'm cooking my own food, I tend to weigh everything. I want to know how many carbs are in the cauliflower, how many carbs are in the onion and the courgette and the tomato. And I pretty much have that in my head now. After all these years of taking care of my diet, I pretty much know exactly how many carbs are in a particular slice of bread and things like that, because I have to keep my carbs low. And that puts me on a kind of a keto diet, very similar to a keto diet. And it keeps me healthy. Keeping my blood sugars in a controllable state means I want to keep my blood sugars somewhere between 5 and 7. Now that means that sometimes it'll go up to 10, but then I might drop down to 5 for a longer period and put me somewhere in an average of about 7, 6.8, 6.5, somewhere in there. I have to be careful because I'm also insulin dependent. So when you're insulin dependent, you have to have carbs. You don't have a choice about having no carbs. But then you need carbs for everyday living. To be healthy, you need carbs, and you need a goodly amount of them. I keep mine to the minimum, and that helps me keep blood sugars under control. So this is my closing piece with me vlogging about my health and about my recovery from being beaten in the back with a couple of fists or a couple of hands or whatever it was, pushed me off my bike. And so I hit and broke those 3 ribs, which rendered me incapacitated really over the last few weeks. But I've gradually gained good health. And one of the comments my doctor made was, it's because you're in good health that you have recovered so quickly. So it's 4.5 weeks, I'm breathing normally, I'm doing my daily exercises normally, and now I'm back at work making things like this and doing some lighter work, not heavy rip cutting yet, not heavy planing, not surfacing boards too much and things like that. But in another week, I think that will be there too. So I'm telling you here, I feel great, and thank you for your support. Thank you for all your good wishes, your prayers, everything else, because I feel like I'm back in the saddle. I have no repercussions to this. I'm not frightened of riding my bike. I've been riding it now. This is my 2nd week, or nearly in my 3rd week of riding my bike again. I feel comfortable. I don't feel fearful. Don't forget though that woodworking is the most amazing exercise. You get stretches, you get pulls, you get lifts, you get shoves, pulls, you get all of these different things that will keep you in good health if you do it every day. So if you can get a couple of hours in the evening, in the morning, before you go to work, whatever suits your agenda. Weekends are great. If you only can do it twice a week, something like that, that would be enough. But I do it every day. I'm still working now. I'll be working about 7 or 8 hours a day in the workshop, pulling and pushing planes and saws, and I feel very blessed. So I'll see you again soon. Cheers, good luck, all the best to you. I stopped by the lake and I thought I'd share what I see. It really is just very beautiful, really, to be here. I'm underneath a horse chestnut tree. You can just barely see the flower there and the palmate leaves here, but then you come to this and it's just such a beautiful evening. You can hear the geese settling in, changing positions, going from one place to another, trying to find a place to settle. So here I am on my way home. I wanted to spend a little time talking to you because I've been working on these vlogs for some time now, but the most recent ones have been about my recovery. And just riding my bike this morning, coming here, I was conscious that it's nearly 12 weeks, I think now, 10 weeks, something like 10 weeks, I think, since my attack. And I'm really not recovered yet. And I can put such a positive spin on things without thinking, because every step that I've taken since the incident, like 2.5 weeks I was back on my bicycle riding again, but that wasn't an easy passage. It wasn't, I can present it as being a progressive step, as though it was, you know, just a progressive step, just another step, like one step after another, that kind of thing. But it wasn't really like that. When I got on my bike and started riding again, I became very conscious of the fact that my ribs were not healed, but healing, and that I could have an incident on my bike, and I would be more likely to have an incident on my bike than I would if I was walking or if I was doing something else. So I was more conscious of that I really didn't want to come off my bike, which you can do. I've had several times when I've come off my bike because of a pothole, because somebody did something extraordinary, not the normal thing, ran in front of me, sent a dog in front of me, whatever it was. And you have to become more conscious of those things. The more experienced you are, you become very conscious that something can go wrong. But I thought about it, and it's too easy for me to put a positive spin on something and for everybody to think, wow, look at this recovery. It didn't really take much, did it? But it did. It took a lot. It took a lot for me to get back on the bike. It took even more for me to cycle the same route where my attacker attacked me and go along the same pavement. And then as I'm riding along that distance, that stretch of 1 mile or whatever, to go across the same intersection, to go along the same path, and have my mind, without even trying to recall it, it just came back to me, all of the different things that happened. But on the recovery of this, each step was very positive, because when I went down, I didn't know I was going to get back up. When I couldn't breathe, I didn't know that I was going to breathe again. So everything that happened in the recovery seemed very positive to me personally. But by my starting to breathe again, it wasn't like I was suddenly back in the place where I was normally breathing again. That wasn't it. It just felt positive, because if you can't breathe, then you suddenly can breathe. You're really appreciative of it. And if you have been knocked off your bike, thrown to the floor, whatever, and you get back on the bike 2.5 weeks later, you feel pretty positive about it. And then when you get 5 weeks down the road and you can really breathe really well, and you know, before I could move the broken ribs with my hands, I could move them with my fingers away from one another. That was in the first day or so. But now I can't move them, so I know they're knitting together. That feels positive, but the pain is still there. I still had to sleep in a recliner. I still couldn't lie on my side. I still couldn't put pressure on my side. I still couldn't use my handsaw or my plane. But when I could use my handsaw or my plane, I felt positive. So all of the steps were positive, but it doesn't mean I'm back where I was when I first started, when I first was attacked. And now here I am, nearly 11 weeks or something like that since the incident. And I just heard from the police that they now have all of the pieces, the jigsaw pieces, the statements, my statement, my health professional, the doctors that gave my condition, named it for what it was, broken ribs. All of that has to be considered. CCTV footage, witnesses, witness statements, people who saw the incident, people who can testify that I was attacked in the way that I was, and so on. So that's all being pulled together, and then of course the identification of this person and so on. So all of that feels quite positive, but it's still not, I'm still not where I was 2.5 months ago. And I'm saying that because recovery takes time, and I am recovering and I am exercising and I'm doing everything within my power to make sure that my recovery isn't hindered because of my laziness, because of my unwillingness to push myself within the reason of what the medical professionals are advising me to do. So I've been to see the physio, she's advised me to do these exercises, I'm doing the exercises. My doctor advised me to carry on working. This is the doctor in the A&E. Carry on working, but work within the limits of your body. What's your body telling you to do? And then not to overdo it. No star jumps, no anything. Now I can do star jumps. If I want to do star jumps, I could do them and I wouldn't have any problem. And so all of these steps are taking time. But what I've found is I'm still looking behind me. I'm still cognizant of being in a crowd. I'm still conscious of not injuring that region of my body and all of the rest of it. And that might take months or even longer, I don't know. I do feel positive. I don't feel like I'm in the doldrums and I can't recover. For every one person like this particular man, there probably are 10,000 others who would never have done such a thing. And those 10,000 others multiplied around the world would come back just like they did for the Samaritan, the Good Samaritan who came back and said, "What can I do to help you?" These people were Samaritans. They came back. They didn't leave me on the roadside. They came back, brought blankets and took care of me for the next 2 hours before I got to A&E. And that was that's the most remarkable thing. So I feel very positive about that side of it. And now you can look at this vlog and you can piece together what you can from it. The important thing is not to be angry, not to be mad, not to be malicious, but I do feel like this person needs to give an account of what he did and then see what justice can do with it. So I thought I would put this on the tail end of this vlog because I think it's important for me to become real with you. I feel like I have been real with you. I haven't exaggerated anything. I haven't tried to put anything but the right words to it because I think those words matter. So I do feel good. I feel like I'm recovering. I feel like I will recover. Whether I'll be exactly the same as I was before this incident, I have no idea. I'm not there yet, but I'm on the way. So I'll see you soon. And keep following, and we'll keep you plugged in. We'll let you see what the end result of all this will be, because this is not over yet.